Lao Tzu taught that simplicity is the key. A very important thing to understand what that means. The more I think it means, it can mean, the less wise politicians are, the more complex things become for the people. I think that's what it means. You can put it down to that. Things have become extremely complex for people because of very simple-mindedness in the politicians that did not understand. And I say this is into technocrats and technologists and all the people messing around with technology. This is about messing around with viruses because it's a very important subject. I think it's the most important subject in the world at the moment. Not economics, not money, not finances. Like people are going cuckoo with all that stuff. But it's the viruses, messing around with viruses, people who do not understand evolution. And everyone thinks I don't understand evolution from out there because I'm not qualified or not accredited at any place or anything like that. I don't care about that. That doesn't qualify. Being credited anymore by anyone doesn't seem to qualify anyone for anything. It just means they're credited for some financial or corporate reason, not necessarily because they've got the wisest people, the best people of all to promote for the best purposes. And it's very important to understand this, that the thing is, technology has evolved and people have followed it, and people are best at it, of manipulating and working with it, engineering within technology, whether it's gene technology, or whether it's space engineering, airplane engineering, they're the best employed in that. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're the wisest people to be messing with technology, especially when it comes to gene splicing and genetic manipulation of viruses. Because there are rumours out there, whether they're true or not. I care not to believe everything I hear in the media because it doesn't make much sense at all. It doesn't make much sense at all because when it comes to COVID, I can't tell whether they're really concerned about that or more concerned about making profits out of not quite yet proven procedures, substances, proto-vaccines, as admitted by Pfizer. And because of that, and we can understand why, you don't have to be whatever they think a science is, you don't have to be that to be able to understand what it means when someone says the T and B cells do not get memory. That is a signal. We haven't got the scientific proof of that yet. What I'm trying to do and point out is if there are people there messing around with viruses, something like COVID, yes, it can kill it, but it's relatively benign from a holistic perspective. It will kill people, it will maim people, it will make people sick. Right? But whether it does not go where all viruses go and gradually fit in with its host is something I don't know if we're quite allowed to see because of the way the media and all that's been manipulated. So bear with me, so I don't think it's a sensitive virus. No, this is you, the individual, as well as the CCP and everyone else, all the federals, all the very powerful people, who I think don't quite understand evolution at all. They understand evolution is a mechanical process, and they create an ideology which is basically the same as the ideology of the Catholic Church, for instance, 300 or 400 years ago when it was doing the Inquisition. It's not much difference. Religious correction and political correction are not much difference in procedure, the way they work. And this should be a concern to everyone, especially those involved. I mean, this concerns me. I'm over 70 and I've got, with a bit of luck, 15 more years if I keep myself fit and away from everyone. I live isolated, I choose to, because it suits me. Anyway, and I don't want flu, for instance. Just stay away. That's it, me. Excuse me for being what I am. But when you mess with a virus, say someone, I've heard, if it's a rumour or not, forgive me, I apologise. I've heard that some power in this world has got this virus that then only picks on certain DNAs and all that, and it will wipe them out, and etc. Leave 20% of the world, safe. No, it won't. No, that's absolute delusion. You can't wipe a virus out. You cannot. Once you set that in play, that virus is a force within itself. That's nothing to do. There's nothing to do whatsoever unless it's a secret formula. And there isn't. There's no secret formula for that. It's a natural system. That is the formula that you're messing with. People are messing around with a natural system that's been set in play from the beginning of time, or the beginning of the evolution of life, from when it came from the first gene pools somewhere back in 3.5 billion years ago, whenever it was. We get into the itty-bitties and all that panickiness about the actual origins of life in the first tar pools or muddy pools or flashes of lightning, which cause a sort of organics to come together and form this blob of life, whatever it was, virus or bacterium, whatever, and they kept together and they carried on from there, and depending on the environment. But the thing about this is, all life, to evolve through extinction and evolve through forward, has a positive living force within itself towards its own survival. Now, if you don't understand that, and you're messing around with viruses so that they, or you're going to affect some people and not others, I can't imagine a greater delusion by anyone. They're not thinking this through. They don't understand the living force itself. They might understand how to manipulate through technology. Someone's clever there, make it with a little machine. He goes, oh, aren't I clever? I get paid lots of money for doing this. Look at my car outside and a big flat I live in. And all the fancy life I'm having. Look at me. Look at me, how clever and successful I've been. Manipulating that gene to do this and create that virus. Brilliant. What a genius. It would take 2 weeks for anyone to go in that lab. 2 weeks. If put us anything in that 2 weeks, we'll mess around, and we'll do the same thing. We use the same equipment. Anyone who's got a bit of a technical brain, an engineering brain, who can fiddle with things, and it can, take a while to catch on how to use those machines. Depends. But there's a clues to this, and the people who are at the forefront of this appear to have something missing in their understanding about natural immunity, and what natural immunity responds to is a natural progress of viruses through the sequential cycles of generation, which is a 3-generational cycle. And the virus has that, but it's extremely fast. It evolves extremely quickly. Over a city, they say the Delta wave, but more than likely the COVID virus has got more than just Delta wave within one city like Sydney. It starts at one end and it moves through, and it's slightly altering through the system. That's what they do. They're viruses. Not cows, not sheep, they're viruses. They're small parts of the DNA, they're extremely tiny. Of course they are. So you can float them everywhere and spread them around everywhere. You can't avoid them. But to a point. But so I'm saying that anyone thinks they're going to make a virus that only wipes out so many people, alright? So many people are deluding themselves. The same people deluding themselves with this are deluding themselves that when they get technology, all world ruled by technology. AI will rule everything. It will control everything. AI is developing its intelligence, its cognitive processes, such a fantastic rate. And now it's accelerating away because evolution gets quicker and quicker and quicker with this technical process. Same as it does with viruses. It responds positively for its own benefit. And that's what technology is doing right now. Even it's through the minds of man. It's just using the minds of man, just carrying this to mean. That's all it's doing. So anyone thinks they're going to release these viruses, well, and we'll be safe because we'll be in our bunker or we can fly in space or whatever that's open. No, you will not. You can't stop that virus surviving for itself as a self-iterating, reiterating entity will adapt positively towards its own survival. That is a simple clue how life evolves and adapts. And if you don't understand that, then you're messing with things that will come back to bite you. As Lau Tzu said, my favourite philosopher of all time, he said, I notice those who want to control the world soon lose their grip. And the grip on reality, it seems to be what they're losing, if they think they can mess around with evolution. Yes, it's a mechanic. You can use it psychologically with political correctnesses or religious correctnesses. You can psychologically alter people. You can do that. Take away their self-will and self-discipline. You can do that. They've done it, or they do it all the time. They've been doing it for the last 100 years with their different ideologies. Where does it get you? It might be. It's actually, it shows a lack. A fear of competition of thinking, that's what it shows, a fear of real challenging in a philosophical sense of way of thinking. That's what it really shows, fear of challenging the way of thinking. Until not quite grasping now what humanity is. It's this thing you can manipulate, but also you can create the same result. A better world, less consumption and all that sort of stuff. All those great, glorious aims for humanity, you can do that just by honesty, positive honesty. With being directly honest to humans about what the process is, what the needs are to do, and not just speaking airy-fairy political senses that most people won't grasp, but basic, frank honestness. What allows people to volunteer, which is an intelligent decision, using their intelligence, natural innate intelligence, allows them then to choose to consume this. And that should be rewarded, not punished. It shouldn't be punishment to get less. People should be rewarded in some way for choosing less, but not in a way that's coerced, because that defeats that. That's the same as using manipulating these viruses and AI and all is a negative. And when you only get so all you're doing is going in a negative way, that's not progress. That's a cataclysm waiting to happen, not long down the road. And it's come back and bite all those who think they're in charge. They're not. Nature's in charge. That's all.